Last year, we kind of looked around at what we had built and realized, we had something that we could share with people, and we had something that could be really cool. And, it was time to take it outside of Ohio. And we were in Ohio and Indiana. It's time to take it outside.
And that there was nothing else like it. It's taking that fundamental traditional idea of private lessons and making it scalable. And there are other concepts who do music education, but none that are exactly like musicology.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the latest edition of Fran Coach's Franchising 101 podcast. I am Tim Parmeter, founder and CEO of Fran Coach and your podcast host. Today, we're going to welcome in one of our newer franchise partners. But this one is so amazing, it actually takes 3 people to tell us about it. It is an incredibly fun brand that is for customers of all ages. That does have a little bit more focus on kids, but it's teaching skills that can be used for an entire life. Before we get to this franchise, let's do a quick reminder of who we are. Fran Coach is a national search firm dedicated to working with individuals like yourself interested in owning a franchise. We are partnered with over 600 franchises spanning about 70 different industries. Our number one goal is to help you properly get educated on franchise ownership to determine if this is the path for you. And if so, what's the absolute best franchise for you to own? All right, that is a little bit about us. Now let's get to our guest. And again, this brand is so amazing. We can't cover it with only one person, not even really 2. We need 3 people today. So joining us, the brain trust behind the brand to start with, the founder and CEO, and the founder and chief education officer, a cool little twist on a CEO, of our featured brand today, which is Musicologie. We've got Joseph and Kay Barker. And then also joining us is the director of franchise development, Miss Annie. And I can never remember how to say your last name, Annie. So I'm just going, you're just Annie. You are so famous. You're like Madonna or Sting or whoever.
That works for me. But my friends call me Poe. But it's pronounced Pomponio, but a lot of my friends call me Poe.
But again, I'm just going, you're so cool. It's just a one name thing. So
that's perfect.
I love that too. But Joseph and Kay and Musicologie, I've got a whole bunch of questions to ask you. And then somewhere in here, I'll probably work in like a discount for my kid on some lessons here, but I'm gonna butter you up a little bit first. So give us the scoop on kind of you guys, and then how did we get to Musicologie?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it starts with us both taking piano lessons when we were 5. And in college we met. I was studying vocal performance, and he was we'll call you a vagabond guitar player.
You're doing recording and songwriting. I mean, I've wanted to be a musician my whole life, and that's kind of where I started piano at 4. But I've also been interested in business my whole life too, and combining art and music and business. When I was 8, I started a stationery company, and I just literally created my own little pieces of stationery and then sold them at outrageous prices to all my family. That's my first. Yes. So we've been doing music and business for really our whole lives.
Yeah, and our first business together was when we decided after college to hit the road and tour as our band. We toured the country for a few years in a vegetable oil powered van, which is very exciting. Made us quick French fries. It was really awesome. It was just such an amazing way to spend our 20s. We opened for Sarah McLachlan. We played with Heart the Moon. We toured with them for a while.
And Walk the Moon.
What?
Bands. Heart the okay. Heart, the band Heart, and the band Walk the Moon.
Yes.
I'm still back on the Scooby-Doo-esque van. That's kind of what I am envisioning.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't worked that into any of these recent stories. I almost forgot that we did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun time. We were young and idealistic, and we're very crunchy. So that's what we did.
Love it. Love it.
And so when we weren't like playing with Walk the Moon, Heart, so we were at home and I started teaching lessons on the side, and I just fell in love with it. It just makes my heart happy to teach. And I just started doing more and more of that, and it became a bigger and bigger part of my life. I started teaching at other studios, and then I started my own studio in my house. And Joseph came to me and he was like, I think we can do this better. And we just sort of realized that there is a huge need in the music lesson space for a community focused studio with a modern approach. So it's those private lessons that parents want for their kids, but it's modern software with like super easy scheduling and, a space where everyone feels like there's a space for them to make music, and no matter what kind of music they want to make. So in 2014, we started our first studio in Columbus, Ohio, and we've just kind of been growing that ever since and growing our processes, adding more corporate studios for the last 10 years. And then last year, we kind of looked around at what we had built and realized, we had something that we could share with people, and we had something that could be really cool. And, it was time to take it outside of Ohio. And we were in Ohio and Indiana. It's time to take it outside.
And that there was nothing else like it. It's taking that fundamental traditional idea of private lessons and making it scalable. And there are other concepts who do music education, but none that are exactly like musicology.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Excellent. So super cool. I'm still picturing the van, right? So,
Yep.
or smelling it perhaps, right?
Right.
So, and this has got to be for you guys. This is your baby, right? And you could have just settled in and had a bunch of corporate stores, but somewhere in there you thought, ooh, franchising. So this has got to be kind of a both exciting and partly terrifying time for just you two kind of really taking this step, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we had, when we opened up our corporate studios, we opened a lot of them with operating partners, and our lawyer at the time was a franchise lawyer. And so we developed this operating partner structure, and we got to a point and I had a bunch of complaints about how that was working. And she was like, man, franchise, that's what you need to do. It solves all of your problems. And what I didn't know was how amazing that journey was going to be, and the hard work that you got to put into it, of course. So we developed that system with help of Michael Side's company, and it's been really amazing. I think the thing that's cool about franchising for us, because we're musicians, we love our business. Franchising is new to us, but the thing that's cool about it, the thing that we love about scaling Musicologie, is working with people who are passionate about kids, about music, and about impacting their community, and to be able to be a part of those franchisees' dreams. We have one franchisee. We just signed that deal earlier this year. They have 2 units. They're opening up their second in just a couple of weeks, and we went to one of their studio's open mics. And just yesterday, and it was a packed house. It was all these parents and kids who, to see the look on some of those parents' faces, and our franchisees were there, and they were dressed up in Halloween costumes with their kids. It was just like such a cool thing, and that's what Musicologie is, and that's why we do it, and I think that's why we love franchising.
Yeah.
Cool. So I want to touch on we're going to talk about the owner that you're looking for and all the support and those things, but from a consumer standpoint, you mentioned private lessons, and there are some other things that are out there that are similar. Do we focus on any certain instruments? Is it only kids? Could my old ass roll in there and all of a sudden have you guys teach me how to play the guitar? What's that look like?
How to play the guitar.
Teach me to be better. The competitive side wants to come out here and go, I'm going to whoop my 11-year-old in Guitar Hero or something.
Yeah.
So
Or play a duet, foster that sort of
yes.
community spirit.
You could be called the Parmeters.
That'll go over really well.
Wouldn't it? The Parmeters? I like that.
Good name. we do all ages, we do all instruments, all abilities. It is really, your neighborhood studio. And that's what's amazing about it. It's not just one genre. It's not just, a whole, piano students and that's it, or just rock instruments. It's a little kid in there with their violin waiting for their first lesson ever, and they're 5 years old. And it's like, 50-year-old guy with his guitar waiting. He wants to, jam out to some Nirvana. And then, you can hear classical music sitting in our lobby. You can, it's jazz piano. So you want, it is just, it's individual lessons so they can be exactly what each student wants and needs.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, right? It's really very personalized for each person rather than trying to kind of sort of shove a certain curriculum down them, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally. That's it. And we have a blend of proprietary curriculum and vetted third-party curriculum that we use depending on the needs, ability, age of the kid. It's a lot of piano, a lot of voice, a lot of guitar and drums. And the other key is making it accessible and meeting a kid or an adult, whoever it is, where they're at with what they want to learn. And so that's, giving somebody a path to, everybody loves music and they love their particular genre or artist. And so giving them a path to play those things that they really love, I think is absolutely key. We say it all the time, like you're not gonna get better unless you love spending time at your instrument. And the way you do that is by playing music that you love.
Gotcha. Okay. And so this is we only private lessons if, like, again, like Annie said, well, look, my son Logan and I are going to start the Parmeters, which is like, the very, very new hit version of the Carpenters or something way back in the day, right? So like, could we come in and do that together? Is that something that happens?
Totally. Yeah.
We have group classes and we have private lessons. So we do a toddler, like mommy and me class for kids 6 months to 5 years. And then we have, group piano lessons that sort of like accelerates their learning on the piano. And we have rock band classes as well, so kids who want to sort of take their playing to the next level, kids and adults who want to do that. So we have lots of different things, but our core offering is really that private lesson membership. So it's a monthly membership that our clients are purchasing, and they're coming to a weekly lesson with a teacher at the same time, same place every week.
And I'm guessing you've got kids, and again, could be an adult that's coming in like very first time they are ever trying whatever it is. And then you've got also people that are probably really, really good at this and just trying to continue to hone their skills. Is that pretty accurate?
Totally. Yeah. It's all different levels.
And our concerts really showcase that. We have sort of 3 different kinds of concerts. We've got open mics; those are open to anybody at any time. And then we have our annual concerts, and those are a little bit more formal, but at a cool venue, so kind of a rock club style. And then we have all-star concerts, and so that's once a year. That's audition only, and so the top students audition. And then they perform at those things. So to see, the different levels, we want to say, like, listen, everybody, like you said, you start off and you don't know what you're doing, but it's important to get in front of people and become part of the community. And so we have performance opportunities for those people all the way up to the people who are pros and want our teachers to sort of get them to the next level, auditions, things like that.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about the owner now. So, and I think this is common in franchising, and I'm going to guess it's the same there. Like, if I wanted to own this and I am the worst musician, singer, performer in the history of the world, can I still own this? Does that hinder me from doing that at all?
Not at all. Not at all. And I doubt that's true for you. But yeah, you don't have to be a musician.
It's true.
We'll fix it. We'll sign you up for some lessons. No, you don't have to be a musician at all. All you got to do is like music. And who doesn't like music? You have to want to have an impact on your community and own this kind of a business, of course. But yeah, you don't have to have a background in music. You don't have to play anything. The franchise owner is not teaching any of the lessons. In fact, they're not even necessarily managing the teachers. There's an executive model. There's we call them a community manager. They're a general manager that all of our locations have. That person manages the teachers, and they do a lot of the interviewing and the vetting of those teachers. And the other piece of that is that we vet the musical ability of our teachers. And so we have a whole hiring system. And one of the pieces of that is a potential teacher submits an audition based on our specific audition criteria. It goes to musicology support, and we say, okay, this person checks the boxes. They can teach, piano at an intermediate level to these age groups. We send that back to the franchisee, and they say, okay, cool, I'll bring them in for an interview and then see if they fit my culture and my scheduling and that kind of thing. So franchisee can have zero musical knowledge at all. That's why we're here. We've got that. Our team has that.
Okay, excellent. So you're saying there's a chance for me with this. All right,
Yeah,
perfect.
Got it. Yep.
And not only that, take lessons.
Yeah.
Right.
You're gonna take lessons.
Yeah. So I'm only going to hire you as an instructor here as if you can teach me, and if you can teach me, you can teach anyone. So perfect. Okay. So talk a little bit about, I guess, kind of maybe that day in the life, and Annie might be able to help us with this as far as some of the things that we don't need the skills of any sort of music background. I mean, I'm sure you're going to have people that do, but it's not required. What are those things that we're looking for in a potential owner?
Sure. So one thing I want to bring up first when we're talking about owners is, that was my dog in the background. Sorry if you heard that. Is people are going to be coming to brokers with, okay, help me out with a franchise that fits my personality type thing. So you're probably not going to have candidates that are going to come directly to a broker saying, I would like to learn about your child enrichment slash music, franchises. So if people are coming saying that they really want to have that executive model, first of all, looking for a company that is not just brand new. I mean, this is 10 years in the making that Joseph and Kay have been doing this. They just started franchising this year, but they have 6 corporate locations. They know what works. They know what doesn't work. Also, people who are looking for child enrichment or just human enrichment, honestly. People who want to, at the end of the day, know that the money that they invest in their business has done good for people. I picture if I was a musicology franchisee going to the concerts or going to the mics and looking at the parents' faces that they're either like just giggling, laughing at their child, jamming on the bass, or just that really proud parent moment, that is going to make, I'm sure, the franchisee feel so proud as well that they were able to offer this opportunity for these families. So someone who might be looking for tutoring, like a tutoring program or preschool programs, or any type of enrichment, that is going to be the segue of, let me tell you about musicology. Do you like music? And it's probably going to be, yes, most people are like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm not musically inclined, but, at a wedding reception, I'm the first one out there dancing when I hear my favorite song. Right. So I think that that's going to be, the best segue is someone who wants to enrich lives and who wants to invest in something that's going to make them feel good.
Hey everyone, I wanted to take a quick break from our podcast to tell you about our amazing friends at Entrepreneur. If you're looking to become a franchisee or simply learn more about business ownership, and guys, let's be honest, you're listening to the Franchising 101 podcast, so we know you have some interest in this. And I really encourage you to go to entrepreneur.com to check out all of their great content and resources. Seriously, Entrepreneur has everything, all the way from a bookstore to the best podcasts, webinars, and videos, plus information on upcoming events and the latest articles that seriously, they cover all aspects of franchising and business ownership. If you're having trouble deciding which franchise is right for you, start with Entrepreneur's renowned Franchise 500 ranking, which highlights the best franchises of 2022. For 45 years and counting now, Entrepreneur has been and continues to be the most widely recognized and respected authority in the franchise market. Digital and print subscriptions are available, so you never miss out on anything. So seriously, what are you waiting for? Go to entrepreneur.com right now and learn more. I feel like the word that keeps coming up is like fun, like not to be kind of cheesy, but there's fun, there's smiles, it's like, this is again, I mean, and it may be like what we were saying before we came on, my son's guitar lessons, and they were trying to teach him how to play Everlong from Foo Fighters, and there was like a couple notes, and I'm like, oh, and then the rest of them are like, ooh, right? But it was like,
Yeah.
he's there, he's trying, and again, it's fun. So you really need, whether they have the music skill or not, you need that owner that wants to kind of impact the community, and really be able to kind of make a difference. I feel like that's probably got to be one of the main things for you guys, right?
He would say, yes.
Yeah.
Our tagline is simply delightful music lessons. That's what we are. That's what we do. So
I like it.
like in terms of like the day to day, like what a franchisee can imagine themselves doing, it's a lot of like high level sort of overarching business tasks. It's checking in with your community manager, making sure, things are going smoothly at the studio. We have a proprietary studio management software that's student facing, teacher facing, manager facing, but it's also franchisee facing, and it has really robust reporting. So a franchisee would be, checking in with those KPIs every day, just checking, how many students do I have coming in for my first lesson, that kind of thing. And then a lot of like, outreach in your community. So yeah, going to those open mics, forging those relationships with, like coffee shop owners or, places, community sort of groups in the neighborhood, those kinds of things. What a franchisee can should imagine themselves doing.
Gotcha. So we've got the owner can be full-time, or they can hire that kind of manager. Joseph, I think you call it a community manager, but person's running the day-to-day, right?
Yep.
And then we have our instructors, and you talked about the different ways you guys are going to help, because again, I'm going to be sitting there going, man, I don't know if you're any good at this or not. You guys are going to help, not do it, but help that owner figure that out. But what's that starting point? Do we have one instructor to start with? Do we have 100? What does that typically look like at the beginning?
Yeah, I think we do across all of our corporate locations. We do have 100. We have eight corporate locations now. So it's going to be 3 to 5 teachers to start with. And they're going to fit really specific niches that we've developed, So they've got a piano, voice, guitar, the top 3 most popular instruments. And then you're going to want somebody who can do the junior program. And so if you have those right away, then you'll be good. You'll be able to fill their schedules. As the studio grows, and this is the cool thing about the model, is that those teachers, you have them in when there's appointments scheduled, and when there's not appointments scheduled, you don't have them in. And so that labor scales with your studio, according to how many students you have.
Right. And even if it's 3, 4, 5 people at the beginning, they're getting paid when they're actually working. It's not just they're just not sitting. Because again, I'm guessing this is I was going to say predominantly after school, but maybe you have, maybe a mommy and me, and it's somebody bringing their 3-year-old in, could be during the day. Is that accurate?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's primarily after school. 3 to 8 is our hours. Monday through Thursday are the most popular. But then, in the morning we'll do our Musicologie junior class, which is our mommy and me music exploration class. And so we'll have a couple of mornings every week where that's happening.
Good. And then we have a physical location for this, correct? Give us kind of like, what are we looking for in kind of range of size and where we put these things?
Yeah, so it's a really small footprint. So we look for 1,200 to 1,800 square feet. So Class A retail, it doesn't have to be. It can be Class B, it can be office condo. We've been really successful going into kind of old office spaces where there's already rooms built out. We can do a little bit of minimal soundproofing, but it's a super simple build out. Every studio has at least 6 rooms. And so we've got 5 small practice rooms and then a bigger room for our Rockstars program and our Musicologie junior program.
Gotcha. And so somebody coming in as a new franchise owner, or somebody listening right now, they're like, okay, this is sounding pretty cool. 1,200 to 1,500 square feet, not too big. And then they think, wait, how many commercial leases have I signed in my lifetime? Let's see, let's add them up. That's 0, right? Holy crap, that sounds daunting. How do you guys help with that?
Yeah, great question. So Repum, we are working with Repum, who has a real estate arm. And so that part of their company really walks a franchisee through the whole real estate process. And that's really, I think, the key to the next steps of our growth. We are brick and mortar. And like you said, that can be daunting for some people who haven't done it before. But we've done it, and Repum has done it hundreds and hundreds of times. And so building out that project management and just taking the reins so that, and again, so that the franchisee can just focus on their community and building their community, their people, letting the moms, the PTOs, the schools, the churches, the preschools know that musicology is here and available. So that whole part of the process is really taken care of.
Yeah. And if somebody's listening and that feels daunting, it's because it is. And we literally just had this conversation with a client who signed a franchise agreement last week, and it's similar, different industry, but similar size space. And they started talking about, like, I've been out looking in here, and I'm like, just stop. And I literally asked him, how many commercial leases have you signed in your life? And he starts chuckling. It's like, none. Then I'm like, then just shut up, right? Like, just do what they say. This is kind of their gig. And if you're going to be a franchise owner and not follow the plan, you probably shouldn't be a franchise owner, right? Yeah. So I wanted to point that out, because again, somebody might hear and go, well, these guys are new. Well, yes, but you have done it already. But this is part of, again, being part of a bigger organization, and there are groups out there. This is kind of all they do.
The whole sort of 6 months to open, and then, that first little bit after you start, I mean, that's like key, to your business. And so, I mean, we have all of the processes that we've used for our studios, including pre-sales processes, to try to get our student numbers to a good point before we even open those doors, and marketing campaigns and things like that. So it's not just the real estate arm that will walk our franchisees through, but it's that whole marketing arm too. It's what we have is just, it's the processes that we've used for our studios, and we're just really excited to share them with other people.
It's because you think about the marketing side too, right? Is yes, the owner or that manager, they need to get the butt out and go talk to people and build those relationships. But you're going to help them, and we don't have to go in depth with this, but great links to create that marketing campaign. You mentioned the word pre-sales, right? So, maybe you're not quite at capacity on day one when you open, but if you're thinking of, we've all driven by someplace that's, a retail thing, and there's a big sign that says coming soon, that manager, that owner, right? You're going to start, like, again, having people on day one that you're open. We already have classes. It's not like open the doors and go, oh, we should think about getting some customers, right? Like, that's already been going on.
Yeah, you gotta start before that. Yeah, and we do, and we have this, like Kay said, a whole plan to make an owner comfortable in that, and it's a membership model, which is really important. It's key to the business, which means that we can sign people up months in advance. We start our pre-sales program 12 weeks out. We build it alongside the franchisee, and we also manage all of the digital ads, and so that's done. So really, we want to take as much off of the franchisee's plate as possible so that they can zero in on the things that only they can do. And a lot of that is being in the community.
Excellent. What are we missing, guys? This is sounds really cool. I have one other question. Actually, let me table. I'm going to let you ponder. What are we missing? And then this question may or may not be self-serving. Are they only lessons in person? Do you offer virtual lessons?
We do offer virtual lessons as well. Yeah. Okay. During the pandemic, of course, we turned it all entirely virtual. And that sort of forced us to build out that side of our business a little bit more. So we offer them for our in-person students too. You can turn your lesson to a virtual lesson with just like one click of a button. But we also do have virtual ongoing lessons. It's someone, who is out in the middle of nowhere in, say, Arizona.
For instance. Yes.
Right.
Friends with one teacher. Absolutely
Excellent.
possible.
And it really wasn't for my kid. It was like, I'm going to sneak the lessons in, and then all of a sudden just grab his guitar and like jam out.
That is such a great idea.
Yeah. And then don't
love
think
that
I won't
idea.
talk smack afterwards, right? Like mic drop and walk off. And go
Just
make
as
some-
long as you record it, please, so that we can watch.
Oh yeah. I'll get some Musicologie merch on when I'm doing
Yes,
it. So.
exactly.
You guys will ask me to block it off when I post it. Like, no, you don't want to take
Not a
credit for that.
student.
Never. We don't know that, dude. What else are we missing from
Competitors.
Oh yeah, whatever. There's all Come on, Annie.
Oh, come on. No, but here's the thing. This
And
is
there are great. And you've been in France, and
unsaturated.
right? And I knew was teeing you up for that, right? But there are great things out there, right? But everything has its subtle little difference. Joseph and I, we go to the same hairstylist now, but back in the day, we used to I don't know, whether did I go to Great Clips or Supercuts or Sport? There can be subtle differences in there with that. There are some here, and I think talk a little bit about some of the differences just from a competitor standpoint with Musicologie.
Well, I'll start. So I think that the two big players out there, really two, School of Rock and then Bach to Rock. So when you're going through those differentials, the fact that School of Rock is only rock, and it's typically older kids, more like middle school, high school age. And their focus is only group lessons. Having all genres is such a huge plus. And then again, starting at 6 months old and then going up to 106 if you want. Bach to Rock is all genres, but even Bach to Rock has more of that group lesson focus. And again, Joseph and Kay didn't reinvent the wheel as far as one-on-one is an easier, better way to learn, but making it affordable for everyone to be able to get that one-on-one experience. So with that real estate, typically about 6 to 10 private music lesson rooms, about 80 to 100 square feet each. So that way you can get the music, but the private music lesson experience. But in the background, you might hear a kid on the drums. And this child who's taken piano lessons is like, I love piano, but God, I'd love to learn how to play the drums as well. Exactly. And let's not forget those mom and pops out there. I mean, there's like Tim, your son, who has, he goes to his guitar / teacher musician. But this is going to be, such a great opportunity to have children probably stick to their music lessons a lot longer because of the energy in a musicology. When I took lessons, it was in Becky Del Harrow's basement apartment with little kids running all around. I had to drop my daughter Gianna off at a house as well. She had to take her shoes off. I didn't stick with it very long. 6 years actually, but Gianna just 2 years. Had I seen my peers and seen kids doing, the musicology rock band, I probably would have stuck with it just because of that energy. But let's also talk about how it's empowering teachers. A mom and pop is having to make sure they clean their house and get it ready for people to come into their house or going to strangers' homes to teach lessons. This is a place where teachers can go and they have their own space. They're there with other teachers so that they can talk about what's working and helping empower each other. They have their 5-step teacher certification program. So even a non-teacher musician can learn how to teach. And, they offer benefits for their teachers who work 30 hours or more. So it's empowering teachers to make more money and have a place to go. And you're going to keep your teachers longer because they're happy there. They're getting paid well. They're getting benefits if they need them. Most music teachers are looking to supplement their income, and so are musicians. So it's not just, improving the lives of the students, but the teachers as well.
Well, and I think sometimes there's a fear when it's a more skilled staff of like, oh, I love Sally. She's a great teacher, but she's going to steal my students. I'm like, Sally doesn't want to steal the students because then she's going to have to find the other ones. Right. And those are folks that are really good and really passionate about what they do, but they're not business people. They don't know how to find that. Right. You guys have that great, Kay and Joseph, you guys have that great balance of, the passion, the education, and then we got the business, like they give you hey, I think maybe we can do this a little bit better. And Joseph, I hope you didn't say better back in the day when you said that to her, like maybe bigger would have been a better choice of words, right? But
I heard you say that and I was like, wait a minute, let's go.
Yeah.
Right. Joseph had a black eye for 2 weeks, but that's fine.
But better than all the mom and pops. That's the thing.
Exactly. Right. So, but for you guys, kind of last thing, this is your baby. This is your vision to see it better and bigger and spread out across the country. What else would you like to share today for anybody listening that we haven't talked about for Musicologie?
Man, I was listening to a couple of Franchising 101 podcasts, and I heard Meg Roberts, who we both really respect, and she said something that I totally relate to, which is that we shouldn't miss like the joy of business ownership and how important that is. And that's been, for us, that's been why we've done this for 10 years, is that it's been fun and impactful in our lives, and we want to share that impact with franchisees. And it's just such a cool, fun business to grow and be a part of. We're just so excited to take it to the next level.
No, that's awesome. I love that too. And Joseph, what was the podcast you were listening to again? I didn't catch the name.
Because in 101, it's a great podcast. Listen to me.
When I coughed, I didn't hear that. No, but it was, she said that. We had somebody on earlier this year, Danessa Ataya, who's the president of a franchise called Bio One, which is crime scene cleanup, right? Which on the surface, not quite as fun as Musicologie, right? That's slight difference. But she had talked about the importance of positivity as being one of the biggest traits that they look for in an owner. And because you have all the greatest plan in the world, something's going to hit the fan, right? And you've got to kind of have that. If you have that positive mindset of, oh, Sally's sick today and can't, like, oh my God, it's everything out of your mouth is like negative. It's gonna create a bad vibe everywhere across the line. And just coming in with the positivity. And I know it sounds a little cheesy, but for Musicologie, this is like, how do you not have fun, like teaching the kids and seeing their excitement and their joy with this? So I love what you guys have put together, and excited to work with you guys hopefully for a long time. So thanks everybody for coming on today to talk about Musicologie. So thanks, guys. Thanks to all of our loyal podcast listeners for tuning in. Hope these episodes give you just some insight again into the amazing possibilities that can be achieved with franchise ownership and some of the incredible brands that maybe you didn't necessarily think about, like Musicologie. If you'd like to learn more about becoming a franchise owner for them, or just in general trying to learn more about the right brand for you, reach out to our team, francoach.net, franchising101podcast.net. Again, it's always going to come to us here at Fran Coach. There's never any fee for our service, so let's help you out. Next week, super excited for this. We've got an In Their Words, an amazing couple. I've kind of selfishly missed talking to these guys, so excited to have them on next week to talk about their journey. If you are bored on Friday nights, don't forget 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Biz TV. Myself and my lovely wife, Danielle, host the Franchising 360 TV show. We're getting a little better, so if you missed the first ones, don't worry. You probably didn't miss a whole bunch. But tune that in, check it out. Let me know what you think. And then again, as always, thanks for tuning in here to the Franchising 101 podcast. We hope to be able to talk to you soon and help you create your better tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.